Okay, well, thank you all for coming. My name is Eugenia, or G. I'm pretty sure you all know that already. And I'll be presenting my capstone project as well as doing a student panel about integrating dance with other life passions. So to start, I'm gonna give you like a little background about myself and my capstone project. So from a very young age, I knew I was put on this earth to help people. Though I didn't necessarily know exactly how I was going to help, I knew that it would drive my life. By around the age of 12, I truly understood the difference between being privileged and being underprivileged. I understood that children specifically in underprivileged communities needed a safe space and positive people to invest in them, to provide them with opportunities to become more than statistics and more than the negativity in their communities. At the age of 14, I took my first formal dance class, joined a dance company, began teaching dance, and gained my passion for dance. Shortly after, I had a dream, and I take those very seriously, if y'all know me, of a community center with different wings for dance, music, art, culinary, sports, and everything else I could think of. The center was a mecca for children in rough communities. I woke up from that dream and realized that this was my life calling. Since then, I've been determined to make these community centers a reality. I know all of you are like, what does this have to do with your capstone? Well, I wanted to find a way to learn as much as I could about the business side of running a nonprofit. As a dancer, sometimes it's crazy to think about the possibilities of dance in relation to other aspects of life. I started by reaching out to some children-centered nonprofits in the area to see if shadowing administration would or could be possible. I learned that it was. However, during the process of figuring out the nuts and bolts of how the shadowship would work, the opportunity fell through. I found myself wondering how I could, one, get my capstone done, and two, make it matter to me. This is how I got involved with Dance Muncie After School Immersive Learning Project, coordinated by the wonderful Mel Swy. Dance Muncie After School is a program that gives 1st through 5th grade students the opportunity to learn various styles of dance, explore personal creativity, and understand how dance can be integrated in all areas of life. Under Mel's supervision, I've been able to learn and practice grant writing, substitute teach dance, practice communication with other people involved in the project, and much more. I have also been given the opportunity to practice public speaking this upcoming July, where Mel and I will present Dance Muncie After School at the Bill Evans Somatic Dance Conference in New York. Though this capstone experience has been long and hard, I wanted to share my story as an example of endless possibility. Whatever you set your mind to with diligence and hard work, it can happen. So for today's panel, I wanted to briefly share stories of other dancers, these nice people up here, who have also made collaborating dance with their hobbies and passions possible. So we'll start by having everyone introduce themselves, what city they're originally from, major, minor, that thing. Yeah. We'll start on that time.
Okay, I'm Devin. I'm from Anderson, Indiana. And then I'm a TCOM major with a concentration in audio.
My name is Jordan Bush. I am a double major in TCOM with a focus in video production and a BA/BS in dance. And I am from the south suburbs of Chicago, a town called Linwood, Illinois.
I'm Alexandria Kuntz, and I'm getting a BFA in dance and a BS in psychological science, and I have minors in autism spectrum disorders and classical voice performance, and I'm from the town of Hanna, Indiana.
I'm Lauren Burns. I'm from Greenville, Ohio, and I'm a double major in elementary education with a concentration in math, as well as a BA/BS dance major.
Will you all also tell us your years as well?
Senior.
Junior.
Senior.
Freshman.
Wonderful. Okay, so will all of you tell us about dance, how, where, why you got started? Let's start on this one.
Okay, yeah. So I started when I was about 6. Started to take dance classes, and I honestly just started because I wanted to be like my sister, and she was in dance. And from then on, it's just been a passion for me. So that's pretty much how I got started.
I went to my first dance class when I was 2. My mom just asked me, both my parents were pretty artsy people, and my mom just asked me if I wanted to go, and I said yes. And I went and I have been taking classes ever since. I was in performing company and competition teams in high school, and I also did theater. I did choreography for a bunch of the musicals while I was there, and it's just really turned into my whole life.
I also was thrown into dance at the age of 2.5 by my mom. We're all very artsy people. I started dancing in Chicago, Illinois at an African American dance studio called Mayfair Academy. And ever since then, I've just been dancing anywhere. I have so many inspirations, so many connections that I've just crossed, and it's just a blessing. In high school, I was in color guard, spinning rifle, saber, and flag. And then moving to college, being part of Outlet Hip Hop Dance Troupe is like something special to me. It's like a family. It just keeps growing. So.
Me, I don't have any professional dance training. So from a young age, I just really liked watching performers and everything that went into that. So just living my life and watching all that, I was like, okay, you want to do dance, so it's about time I do it. So where I got some of my training was actually with OBO when I first came to Ball State. So yeah.
Cool. So I'm pretty sure you all take interest in the other art forms, but if you do, what are they? And if they're not art forms, what are your other hobbies, passions that you would say take up a nice chunk of your time besides school? Besides school. Devin, you want to start?
Okay. Let's see. Painting, writing, fashion, conceptual things, like concept fashion, photography, music, so like singing as well. Yeah, things like that.
I actually, when I had time, so I feel like when I graduate from college again, I used to paint and draw all the time. In high school, I actually had a painting sent to Washington, D.C., and it was held in the Capitol building for a year, so that was pretty cool. And then everybody who knows me, I love videos. I love making videos, dance videos, and all types of videos. So I love doing it.
Well, I started taking professional voice lessons when I was old enough, so when I was 13, and I was trained in musical theater and classical vocal performance, and I still study that here. And I did, like I said, a lot of theater in high school, so that was and I still focused on it quite a bit in college, working on a lot of the musicals here and doing some other side work in the musical theater realm. And I also do a lot of work with people with exceptionalities or disabilities. I work with an organization here that teaches the performing arts to kids with special needs. So that's been a really important thing to me as well.
So in my free time, I enjoy doing a little bit of drawing and sometimes singing, but I as well was involved with an organization, same as Alexandria, with disabilities with children and teaching them dance, music, theater. And then also something that's taken up a lot of my time in the past has been competitive horseback riding, but it's something that I've also kind of fallen out of now that I've gone to college, so yeah.
Cool. So how are you all implementing dance into your everyday life, as well as a lot of the passions and interests that you mentioned to us?
Like your professional goals, or like just
professional, currently, whatever.
Great.
You start.
Great. Well, currently being a dance major, I dance every single day, and in the future, I got into a graduate school program for dance movement therapy because I really want to utilize dance as a way of healing other people. It's been shown to be really effective. Specifically for me, my focus has been autism spectrum disorders and other disabilities, specifically with children. That's just a population I really work well with. And I think that the arts all kind of hold, they can unlock so much in a person, teach them how to communicate in a way that they're not even aware that they can, especially like working with the prison project here and showing those kids, especially a lot of them who are nonverbal, they can use movement and use dance to express themselves and to communicate with one another in a really healthy way. And so in the future, I'd just like to really bring that to as many people as possible.
Can you repeat the question?
What question was I? Just kidding. How are you implementing or combining dance in everyday life as well as your other passions? I know a couple of you all are dance majors, so I guess how are you taking your other hobbies and other interests and implementing them into your everyday life like dance?
Yes. So I am a double major, like I said, dance and TCOM. My focus and my future is to be a producer, be able to produce music videos, dance videos, commercials, like anything that is just creative in the entertainment industry. Just recently, well, last week I just got an offer to work for BET over the summer, so I'll be doing that. And it's just like a lot of, I feel like dance is just always my outlet to go back to though, and it's just a thing where like if I'm ever stressed doing homework, like school related stuff, I could just like step back and like dance. So
You repeat the question? Sorry.
Come on, y'all, get it together. Yes, how are you implementing dance as well as other hobbies? Or for you, since your major is telecommunications, right? Telecommunications, how are you implementing dance in your everyday life along with telecommunications?
Okay.
Feel free to tell us more about OBO and the role you play in OBO.
I mean, I didn't really know. So like, I'm a creative person. So for me, everything comes from how I feel. So when I came into OBO, it was like just this great experience for me because okay, like I'm here with this group of people and they like understand how I feel and I'm learning so much from them. So with TCOM, it's the opposite scope. So it's looking at things from an outside perspective, and then for me, it's trying to figure out, okay, how can I make this more intimate, or how can I get this feeling that I'm feeling across, whether it's with like the camera or with the audio, or everything is just how can I make this feeling come across authentic for me. So yeah, that and just sometimes how I feel I have to get certain things out, so I may feel like I need to dance, I might feel like I need to draw something or write something, and then that can all lead back into, okay, I'm gonna take this and apply this with this. So let's say, oh, I wrote a poem, okay, let me put movement to it. Let me use a 3 lighting kit and do this with it to get this feeling across. So I guess that's the message I'm always trying to convey.
Cool.
So I feel like since coming to college and, dancing almost every day, it has been like obviously something that I work on every day, dance in general. But the difference from the past was like dance has always been more like an extracurricular activity, but now that I'm here, it's like you're taking classes, you're going to college for dance, so you're required to think deeper into the movements and stuff, which I personally enjoy. But also with education, they're kind of like two completely different things as far as credit wise and classes wise. But I feel that in education, I'm learning, how kids learn and how they best adapt to things, and I'm sort of applying that when I'm dancing as well and trying to connect the two. And as a freshman, that's something I'm still working on and trying to connect, but.
Yeah, that stuff takes time.
Yes.
Yeah, sure does. So what are some of your short-term, long-term, just, real quickly, I know a couple of you touched on some of the big things you want to do, but maybe tell us about either short-term, long-term goals as far as either dance is concerned, or your other passions, or both, either one. Anybody want to start?
your turn.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, I did touch on it, but so I could say, well, my inspirations, like Debbie Allen, she's someone who I really look up to, because she's not only a dancer, she's a performer, she acts, she sings, she produces. That's kind of where I'm headed in the future. Like, I want to be able to produce, films and, like I said, commercials, music videos, like just anything you can think of. I guess a short-term goal that I want to achieve is, I want to get my master's, and I don't know if I want it to be in video production or like something with dance. So I'm still thinking about it, but that's where I'm headed.
Cool. Sure.
So long term, I'm inspired, kind of going off what you said. I'm inspired by people like Tinashe. Like, she sings, dances, produces her own music. She does everything herself. Or FK Twigs. I really like her use of concepts and her sound. So I'd like to do something like that for myself in the long term. And also with writing, I really like how Florence Welch writes from Florence and the Machine. I just really love how she writes. Like, she just understands things. So I don't want to step my pen game up in that way. Short term, I want to write a book. So that's something I'm in the process of doing, but that's something I really would like to do for myself and put that out. Yeah.
At the moment, I am planning to be just a general education teacher for a few years after college, and then hopefully owning my own dance studio, starting off just probably summers, and then completely switching over from one career to the next.
Well, like I said, I'm going to grad school for dance movement therapy next year. So obviously long term, I want to be a board certified dance movement therapist. I'm also going to be getting a mental health counseling certification while I'm there, and a drama therapy certification as well. So I'd like to, I'm bouncing around a lot of different ideas right now because I just am interested in so many different things. I thought it might be really cool to like open a theater or open like a theater company where we could do like kind of like Prism Project, where we do dance, art, theater, music all together, but like specifically like this company specifically for kids with disabilities. I'm tossing around that idea. I'd also like to maybe teach dance or do dance therapy in a children's hospital. I think that would be a really great start to my career for me. And recently I've been considering one day maybe going back for a doctorate in child psychology, but that's still maybe not, I don't know. But so I guess short term is just to get to grad school and see how I can work with the community there, because while I've been here, I've gotten to do so many different things like dance Muncie after school and Prism Project and working on musicals and performing in shows, and I'm just really interested to see how I'll fit into a completely new community and see if maybe I could start a Prism Project out there too.
Cool. Okay, last question. It's kind of like a duo question. What keeps you all motivated to continue and pursue your dance passions and your other passions? And do you have any advice for anyone who might be on the fence about dancing and doing other things, or they're doing other things but are on the fence about dancing? Anybody want to start? I know that was a loaded one. Y'all weren't ready for that one.
Well, I have the second one.
Okay.
Some advice?
Yes.
Just basically, if you have like any passions, just do it. Like I was scared just to do dance in college. I didn't think it was gonna happen for me, but I am happy that I did it. Then also, like over the summer, like reaching out to people or attending workshops and internships, like things that you're interested in, just to like get the experience, and you'll have that under your belt in the future. So I don't know about the first one.
I think what keeps me motivated, because having two majors, especially one of them being a performance concentration, is a lot of extra work, which they all know, but I think what keeps me motivated the most is like knowing that what I'm doing now is really going to make a difference in the future, and that the world needs people like us to really keep working and keep combining our passions together and bring it to everybody else. And I know for me, really good advice to freshman Alexandria would have been like a lot of people are going to tell you that you cannot do the things that you want to do, but do them anyway. I always just do it anyway, and I think that it has helped me grow so much as a person to like push myself, and like somebody might like my family is always, and my friends are always in my corner, but every now and then you get people that are just like, no, you can't do all of that at the same time. You can't have different interests. You have to pick one, and you just don't have to pick one. You really don't have to. Like, you can combine, like all of us have combined all of these things, and there's so many different aspects to them, and I think that you just have to keep pushing yourself, and if it's really important to you, like, who cares what anybody else thinks? Just do it, and it'll be worth it in the end. 2 weeks away from graduation, or 1 week away from graduation, it was worth it.
Yes.
What she said. No, but I know something that's helpful for me is like I try to set aside a certain amount of free time for myself, like, you know, a couple times throughout the week, so that I do have a little bit of downtime to just, you know, reflect on what I am doing here in college. But also just some advice would be, like, you never know unless you actually try. So, you know, like, I didn't think that these two majors that I chose would actually work out, but so far I'm almost through my first year of college, and I like it so far. So,
So for motivation, I'm one of those people, I need constant stimuli to be motivated, or else I can get very down on myself. I'm very hard on myself. So, I mean, I'm always looking for things that make me feel something or that excite me, obviously. But, and that reignites that fire in me, because I need that. So I would say always just keep doing things that you love, and just keep searching and don't give up. And honestly, what anybody else really has to say doesn't matter at the end of the day. And I'm just now figuring that out, and I'm about to leave this place, you know? So, and advice-wise, I guess, like, it doesn't matter, like I said, what people say. It doesn't matter even if your family's like, oh, you can't do this, that's not realistic, or XYZ. They don't know what's in your mind and your heart. You know, you have to live your life for you at the end of the day. That's all that matters. And when you do that, the right people will come along and be like, hey, I see what you're doing, I get it, I feel like that too, or I understand where you're coming from. So be true and authentic to yourself, and everything will fall in line, as cliche as that sounds.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna answer my own question as well. Don't be afraid of rejection. Don't be afraid of self-doubt. All of that is a part of being a human being. And whatever, like they said, you put your mind to, as long as you work diligently and hardly, it will work. Never did I think I would be able to do business and be a dancer and teach and do all these other things that I try to do in the mix. It works as long as you believe in yourself. Yeah. Let's give a hand for our panel here. I think we have time for like one question, if anybody has a question, before some of our performers and peeps have to bounce out. No questions? Amazing. Well, thank you guys for coming. Yeah.